"Doctor, it was just a slice of papaya. Why did I end up in the ER?" That was the trembling question Mr. Gerald, 74, asked me as he lay on a hospital stretcher, barely catching his breath after a sudden anaphylactic reaction. I still remember that moment clearly. Here was a man who had always been active and mindful about his health. Every morning he ate fresh fruit, a routine he believed was part of a healthy lifestyle. But on that particular morning, just minutes after eating a few slices of ripe papaya, he began to itch. His lips swelled. His throat tightened. By the time he reached the ER, his blood pressure had dropped so low we could barely detect a pulse. And sadly, Gerald's case is not unique. According to a 2017 report from the CDC, over 200 people in the United States were hospitalized after consuming contaminated papayas, most of them unaware the fruit had been carrying dangerous bacteria like salmonella. Among the most affected, seniors. Their immune systems tend to be weaker, slower to respond, and more vulnerable to complications. And it doesn't stop there. A 2023 study in the Journal of Food Safety found that papaya ranks among the top 3 tropical fruits most likely to carry bacterial contamination and pesticide residue, especially when not handled or stored properly. Let me ask you this: do you eat papaya regularly? Do you see it as a safe, easy to digest, naturally sweet, and vitamin C-rich superfruit? I don't disagree with you. Papaya can be wonderful for the body when used wisely. But after more than 30 years working in clinical medicine and nutrition, I've learned this simple truth. There's no such thing as a universally healthy food. Only healthy choices, based on how, when, and by whom the food is consumed. And often, the biggest health risks don't come from fast food or sugar. They come from the overlooked details in the foods we trust the most. In today's video, I want to share with you, as a doctor who studied aging and digestive health for decades, the 7 most common yet dangerous mistakes older adults make when eating papaya. And trust me, some of these aren't just minor errors. They can trigger food poisoning, allergic shock, liver strain, kidney stress, or even cancel out the very medications you rely on to manage heart disease or diabetes. Together we'll explore why papaya can cause internal bleeding in certain situations, who should avoid papaya seeds entirely, and why a single cut through an unwashed papaya might be enough to introduce dangerous bacteria into your meal. So Warning 1. Papain allergy, a tiny enzyme, a big reaction. I used to think papaya was just a soft, sweet fruit. Until the morning, I had to jab an EpiPen into my own leg at the breakfast table. Sandra, 68, California. Sandra is a cheerful woman. She lives alone, enjoys her morning rituals, and absolutely adores papaya. Every day since retiring, she would slice half a ripe papaya, add a squeeze of lemon, and sit quietly with her fruit, like a little moment of self-care. But one morning, after just a few spoonfuls, she felt something strange. Her mouth started itching. Her throat burned like sandpaper. Her lips began to swell, and within 10 minutes, she couldn't breathe. Thankfully, her daughter had come by for a surprise visit and acted fast. She called 911, injected the EpiPen, and saved Sandra's life. So what was the culprit? A natural protein-digesting enzyme called Papain. Papain is found in both green and ripe papaya. It's what makes papaya useful as a natural meat tenderizer. It breaks down protein into smaller amino acids. In medicine, papain is sometimes used in digestive aids or anti-inflammatory supplements. But for some people, especially those with allergies or sensitive immune systems, papain can trigger a full-blown allergic reaction. Papain allergy is more common than people think. According to a 2020 study published in Allergy, about 10 to 15% of enzyme-related food allergies are linked to papain. Symptoms can range from itchy mouth or throat, hives or rashes, swollen lips, tongue or face, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, and in rare but serious cases, anaphylaxis. Once papain enters the body of someone sensitive, the immune system can misidentify it as a dangerous invader. In response, it releases a flood of histamines, causing blood pressure to drop, airways to swell, and in extreme cases, loss of consciousness. Here, as something many people don't know. If you're allergic to natural rubber latex, there's a good chance you could also react to papaya. This is called latex fruit syndrome because the proteins in papaya are very similar to those in natural latex. According to the American Journal of Clinical Dermatology, 2019, 44% of people with latex allergies showed cross-reactions with papaya. Other fruits that fall into this category include banana, avocado, kiwi, and chestnut. A common misconception among older adults is, "I've eaten papaya my whole life. I've never had a problem." But allergic reactions can develop with time. As we age, our immune systems shift. Medications, chronic illnesses, and even repeated low-level exposures can sensitize the body over time. Someone who had no reaction at 40 may suddenly react at 65. What should you do? If you ever notice itching, rash, swelling, or stomach upset after eating papaya, stop immediately and monitor your symptoms. If symptoms worsen or involve breathing, call emergency services right away. If you have a history of food or latex allergies, ask your doctor about an IgE test or skin prick test for Papain. If you're taking digestive supplements, check the label. Some contain Papain without clear warnings. And if you've ever had anaphylaxis, carry an EpiPen epinephrine auto-injector with you at all times. Papain is one of nature's gifts when used with care and by the right person. But if you're part of the sensitive population, it can spark a cascade of reactions you never saw coming. So don't brush off that mild itch or tickle in your throat. It might be your body's gentle way of warning you about a storm on the horizon. Warning 2. When too healthy becomes too much, the hidden risks of overeating papaya. I ate it every single day. I thought the more the better, but then came the stomach cramps, constant diarrhea, and my skin started turning a strange shade of yellow. Mr. Martinez, 66, Florida. Mr. Martinez is what I'd call a thoughtful man. He takes his health seriously. After being told to eat more fiber to support his digestion, he decided papaya was his go-to superfruit. Half a papaya a day, sometimes a whole one. But slowly, his body began sending signals: persistent bloating, mild cramping in the upper abdomen, and oddly, the palms of his hands began to turn a pale orange. At first, he blamed aging, but the truth, his body was overloaded. No doubt, papaya is one of nature's most nutrient-rich fruits. It's packed with vitamin C 2 to 3 times more than oranges, beta-carotene, converted into vitamin A, soluble fiber, great for digestion. Papain enzyme breaks down proteins. But here's the key. Even healthy things can become burdensome when consumed in excess. The biology behind the too much effect. Excess fiber, gut disruption. One medium papaya, 500 g, contains about 7 grams of fiber, nearly 1/3 of the daily recommended intake. Too much fiber at once can cause diarrhea, bloating or cramping, poor absorption of minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium. Source: Dietary Fiber Overload and Gut Transit Time. Journal of Nutritional Health, 2022. Too much papain, stomach irritation. While papain helps with digestion, in high doses it can increase stomach acid, irritate the stomach lining, weaken your gut's protective barrier. Source: Proteolytic enzyme imbalance in gastric function, gut and liver, 2021. Too much beta-carotene, skin discoloration, carotenemia. If you're eating papaya frequently, say 2 to 3 whole fruits per week, beta-carotene builds up in your bloodstream, leading to a harmless but strange condition. Carotenemia, skin turns a yellow-orange tint, most noticeable on palms, soles of feet, and around the nose or mouth. Many people mistake this for jaundice or liver issues, when in fact, it's simply the result of too much papaya, carrots, or squash. Source: Carotenemia in Adults, Clinical Perspectives, Journal of Dermatologic Case Reports, 2020. Liver and kidney stress from overuse. Papaya naturally contains oxalates. In large amounts, these compounds can burden your liver's detox system, promote mild crystal formation in the kidneys, especially if you have a history of kidney stones. And if you're already taking vitamin A or C supplements alongside regular papaya intake, your liver and kidneys might be working overtime. Who's most at risk from overdoing papaya? Those with sensitive digestion or IBS, people on stomach acid blockers or anti-inflammatories, patients with kidney stones or chronic liver issues, older adults with slower metabolism, children under 5, whose digestive systems are still developing. Eat papaya in smart portions. Stick to one moderate slice per day, 100-150 g. Don't eat large amounts every single day. Rotate your fruits. If you notice symptoms like persistent diarrhea, bloating, or yellowish skin, pause and reassess. Stay hydrated to avoid electrolyte imbalance if diarrhea occurs. See a gastroenterologist if you have pre-existing gut or liver conditions. Takeaway from Mr. Martinez: a good fruit doesn't mean you need a lot of it. The smartest way to eat after 60 is not about eating more, it's about eating wisely. Let each bite of papaya be a gentle remedy for your digestion, not the drop that tips an already full glass. Warning 3. Papaya and medications. When a fruit quietly turns into a side effect. I never imagined my morning papaya smoothie could thin my blood too much. My doctor said if I hadn't done my INR test when I did, I could have had internal bleeding. Mr. Glenn, 72, Boston. Mr. Glenn used to teach high school gym, disciplined, active, always the one encouraging others to live healthy. After a minor stroke 2 years ago, he was prescribed warfarin, a common blood thinner for heart patients. Wanting to eat cleaner, he swapped his morning pastry for a papaya smoothie. But within a few weeks, he noticed easy bruising, dizziness, and strange purple blotches on his arms, even though he hadn't bumped into anything. His next INR test showed dangerously thin blood. The cause? Not the medication, but how papaya quietly amplified its effects. Here's the thing: papaya isn't just a fruit, it has active biological properties. And when combined with certain medications, it can either weaken or overpower their effects. Blood thinners: warfarin, aspirin, clopidogrel. Papaya contains vitamin K, a nutrient directly tied to blood clotting. But here's the catch: vitamin K helps blood clot. Blood thinners work to prevent clots. So if you eat papaya daily, right arrow vitamin K goes up. The medication weakens, right arrow clots may form. But if you suddenly stop eating papaya, right arrow vitamin K drops fast, right arrow your INR shoots up, right arrow, raising the risk of internal bleeding or brain hemorrhage. Source: Dietary Vitamin K Intake and Anticoagulant Therapy Stability. Journal of Clinical Pharmacology, 2023. Diabetes medications: metformin, glipizide, insulin. Papaya is low glycemic but rich in soluble fiber. Papain, a natural enzyme that boosts digestion. These compounds can enhance insulin absorption, sometimes pushing blood sugar down lower than expected. The result: shaky hands, sweating, fatigue, or even fainting. Especially risky if you take your medication and eat papaya right after. Source: Glycemic Impact of Tropical Fruits in Diabetic Patients. Diabetes Care Journal, 2022. Blood pressure, diuretics, anti-inflammatories. Papain can increase the gut absorption of several medications. That includes blood pressure meds like amlodipine, losartan, diuretics like furosemide, NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen. This can lead to blood pressure dropping too low, right arrow dizziness, falls, electrolyte imbalance, right arrow fatigue, irregular heartbeat, stomach irritation, especially with anti-inflammatories, antibiotics, and digestive enzymes. Papain is powerful, and when paired with certain antibiotics or enzyme supplements that already contain papain, It can change how fast medications are broken down, sometimes leading to rapid absorption or, in those with sensitive stomachs, mild gastric erosion. Source: Herb-Drug Interactions in Clinical Practice. Pharmacognosy Review, 2021. Who should be extra careful with papaya if taking medications? Anyone on blood thinners or antiplatelet drugs, people managing type 2 diabetes or on insulin, patients with heart conditions or high blood pressure, anyone using NSAIDs regularly, older adults on long-term antibiotics or enzyme supplements. If you're on daily medication, ask your doctor before adding papaya regularly to your diet. Keep your diet consistent. Don't eat papaya heavily one week and skip it the next. It messes with medication levels. Wait 1–2 hours between taking medicine and eating papaya. Monitor INR, blood sugar and blood pressure regularly if you eat papaya often. Keep a food log if you experience new symptoms, dizziness, bruising, fatigue, or unusual digestive issues. Lesson from Mr. Glenn: healthy doesn't always mean harmless. Papaya can be your friend or a silent saboteur. After 60, our bodies become less forgiving, more reactive. So every bite should come with a little wisdom, a little mindfulness. Eat to heal, not on autopilot. Warning 4. Unripe papaya, a hidden trigger for stomach trouble and a real risk during pregnancy. I never imagined that a simple papaya salad would nearly cause me to lose my baby. It was just a dish I'd grown up with. How could it be dangerous? Lucy, 34, 9 weeks pregnant. I still remember Lucy's case vividly. She was a healthy first-time mother. No alcohol, no coffee, no sushi. She followed every rule in the book. But that afternoon at a small family birthday party, someone placed a plate of spicy Thai green papaya salad right in front of her, sweet, tangy, and nostalgic. A childhood favorite. Less than 2 hours later, she was doubled over in pain, light bleeding. At the hospital, the ultrasound showed abnormal uterine contractions. Thankfully, the baby was okay. But the doctor told her, if she had waited just a few more hours, the outcome might have been different. Unripe papaya isn't just underripe ripe papaya. This is a common misunderstanding. Ripe papaya, right arrow, soft, sweet, contains gentle levels of papain, soothing to the gut. Unripe papaya, right arrow, firm, starchy, and packed with unprocessed papain and latex sap, far more potent than most people realize. These compounds can be harsh, especially for people with sensitive stomachs, those taking anti-inflammatory medications, pregnant women. Unprocessed papain irritates the stomach lining. The papain in unripe papaya hasn't yet been ripened by natural enzymes. It acts as a mild corrosive, a gut stimulant, and a direct irritant to the stomach's mucosal lining. This can trigger pain, reflux, diarrhea, or cramping in people with chronic gastritis or IBS. Source: Unprocessed papain Effects on Gastric Mucosa. Gut International, 2021. Latex sap triggers uterine contractions during pregnancy. Unripe papayas contain latex, the white sticky sap that seeps out when you cut into them. That sap is rich in prostaglandin-like compounds, which stimulate smooth muscle contractions, especially in the uterus. This can trigger premature uterine activity, increase risk of miscarriage or early labor, especially in the first trimester, cross-react with latex allergies in sensitive individuals. Sources: Papaya fruit latex and uterine contractility. American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, 2020. And Clinical Nutrition and Pregnancy Warnings. BMC Pregnancy and Childbirth, 2022. Other active compounds strong, and sometimes too strong. Unripe papaya also contains benzyl isothiocyanate, BITC, a natural compound with biological activity. In small amounts, BITC can be beneficial, but when eaten raw or in large portions, right arrow, it can overstimulate the digestive nerves, causing nausea, abdominal cramps, and even diarrhea. Right arrow, it also places extra strain on the liver, especially for those already taking liver-metabolized medications or managing fatty liver disease. Source: natural compounds in unripe papaya and hepatic load. Journal of Medicinal Plants Research, 2021. A common misstep: if I wash and slice it, it's safe, right? Not quite. The latex sap often remains stuck between the shredded fibers, unless it's soaked for a long time in salt water. If not thoroughly cooked, the harsh enzymes remain active. Just rinsing and adding lime juice isn't enough. Who should avoid or greatly limit unripe papaya? Pregnant women, especially in the first trimester. Anyone with chronic gastritis, acid reflux or IBS. People with latex allergies or known food sensitivities. Those taking NSAIDs, corticosteroids, or other anti-inflammatory drugs. People with weakened liver function or undergoing treatment for fatty liver or high liver enzymes. If you're pregnant, completely avoid unripe papaya, even in salads unless it's fully cooked. In stews or stir-fries, only use small portions, cooked well with as little sap as possible. If you feel nauseated, bloated, or have loose stools after eating papaya salad, stop immediately, hydrate, and monitor. If you have a history of stomach issues, it's best to skip raw unripe papaya altogether. Lucy's lesson, and one that many women learn too late: just because something is traditional doesn't mean it's always safe. Familiar foods only stay safe when we understand their biology. After 50, or during pregnancy, every bite we take is a message to our body. And sometimes, all it takes is a single salad to disturb what's most precious: the delicate lining of your stomach, or the tiny life just beginning to grow inside you. Warning 5. Tossing papaya seeds. Are you missing a miracle medicine or saving your liver and hormones? Doctor, I read that papaya seeds help with digestion and kill parasites. So I started blending them into my morning smoothies. But after a few weeks, I felt exhausted, my belly was bloated, and my period just stopped. Naomi, 41, a patient of mine in Chicago. Naomi is a single mom. She's bright, resourceful, and loves exploring natural health remedies. After watching a viral video that hailed papaya seeds as a liver cleanser and parasite killer, she started grinding up 2 teaspoons each morning, right into her smoothie. At first, she felt great, her digestion improved, but by week 3, her energy tanked. Her abdomen felt tight and sore, and her menstrual cycle completely vanished. Blood work later revealed elevated liver enzymes, signs of hormonal imbalance, and mild liver stress. Most people toss papaya seeds without a second thought, but these little black beads are surprisingly rich in powerful plant compounds, flavonoids and polyphenols, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, papain and carpin, digestive enzymes and antiparasitic agents, healthy fats, including monounsaturated oils good for heart health. Source: Phytochemical Analysis of Papaya Seeds, Journal of Medicinal Food, 2013. When used correctly, antibacterial and antiparasitic, papaya seeds contain benzyl isothiocyanate (BITC), shown to kill E. coli, salmonella, and staph. Journal of Ethnopharmacology, 2015. Digestive support. Papain helps break down proteins, similar to how meat becomes tender when marinated with papaya. Antioxidants help reduce cellular aging and support the liver and kidneys in small, occasional doses. But when overused or misused, liver toxicity. Too much BITC over time can trigger oxidative stress in the liver, especially dangerous for anyone on medications or with pre-existing liver issues. Chronic toxicity of papaya seed extract in liver function. Toxicology Reports, 2021. Hormonal disruption, especially in men. Animal studies have found that papaya seed extract may reduce sperm count, lower testosterone, and impair fertility. Effective Carica papaya seed extract on male reproductive hormones. Andrology, 2019. While these effects haven't been fully confirmed in humans, they're enough to raise concern, especially for those trying to conceive or managing hormonal issues. Digestive irritation. For some, especially those with sensitive stomachs or when taken raw or in large amounts, papaya seeds can cause nausea, mild stomach cramps, loose stools, or diarrhea, particularly if the seeds are not ground finely or taken on an empty stomach. Who should avoid or greatly limit papaya seeds? People with liver disease or high liver enzymes. Those undergoing fertility treatments, both men and women. Women with irregular menstrual cycles. Children under 12. Anyone taking liver metabolized drugs like statins, Tylenol, or some heart medications. Safe use guidelines. For healthy adults, no more than 1 teaspoon per day, roughly 5-6 ground seeds. Use for no longer than 7 days in a row, then take a break. Never drink in smoothie form or take high doses in hopes of quick detox. Avoid completely if you're pregnant, you have liver conditions, you're in fertility treatment, or planning to conceive. Trying it for the first time. Watch your body carefully for 24-48 hours. If you feel unwell, stop immediately, hydrate, and consult your doctor if symptoms persist. Naomi's story, and that of so many others, teaches us a vital truth. Nature is powerful, but also delicate. The right amount can be medicine, but double the dose and it becomes a silent toxin. After 50, our liver and hormones don't bounce back like they used to. We don't need more, we need wiser choices. And sometimes tossing something out is the kindest choice we can make for our health. Warning 6. Storing papaya the wrong way. When a healthy fruit becomes a hidden bacterial threat. All we had was a few slices of chilled papaya from the fridge. And yet our whole family ended up in the hospital, stomach pain, fever, non-stop diarrhea. I never imagined the problem came from the way I stored fruit. Nancy, 63, New Jersey. Mrs. Nancy shared this with a weary sigh. It was a scorching summer afternoon, and she just wanted to refresh the family with something cool and healthy. A beautiful fruit platter with papaya, cantaloupe, and mango. She had pre-cut everything the night before and stored it in plastic containers in the fridge. But 2 hours after eating, Nancy, her husband, and their 7-year-old granddaughter were all doubled over in pain, vomiting, feverish, and weak. At the hospital, the diagnosis was clear: salmonella poisoning, the source. Overripe papaya cut ahead of time and improperly stored. Why does ripe papaya spoil so easily? Because it's soft, sweet, moist, the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Because it's often pre-cut, which breaks its natural defenses. And because many people don't realize that ripe fruit, when stored incorrectly, can cause worse illness than raw meat. CDC report 2017. Nearly 200 foodborne illness outbreaks in the U.S. were linked to papayas contaminated with salmonella, most due to improper storage after cutting. What bacteria can grow on poorly stored papaya? Salmonella. Severe diarrhea, high fever, intense stomach cramps. Listeria monocytogenes, deadly for seniors and pregnant women. E. coli, may cause bloody stools, kidney failure in severe cases. Staphylococcus aureus, produces toxins if left at room temperature. Post-harvest microbial contamination in fresh cut fruits. Journal of Food Microbiology, 2021. The moment you cut into fruit, you tear open its protective skin. That's when bacteria from knives, cutting boards, hands, and the air sneak in. If not immediately refrigerated, pre-cut papaya becomes a nutrient-rich paradise for bacterial growth. Just 2 hours at room temperature, and the bacteria can multiply by thousands. FDA Guidelines 2022, pre-cut fruit must be stored at less or equal to 40 degrees F, 4 degrees C, and consumed within 2 days. Who's most at risk from poorly stored papaya? Seniors over 60, weakened immune systems. People with chronic conditions, diabetes, liver or kidney issues, cancer. Pregnant women, risk of listeria miscarriage. Children under 5, prone to dehydration and kidney complications after diarrhea. Whole papaya uncut. Leave at room temp until fully ripe. Once yellow and soft, right arrow refrigerate. Use within 5-7 days. Cut papaya, store in airtight containers. Refrigerate immediately. Eat within 48 hours. Never leave it out for more than 2 hours, especially in hot weather. Always wash knives, cutting boards, and hands thoroughly. If you've used the knife for raw meat, rinse with hot water before cutting fruit. If the papaya smells off, is mushy, or has changed color, throw it out. Don't risk your health to save a few dollars. Nancy's story, just one of thousands of similar cases across America, teaches us this. We love papaya for its sweet taste and cooling texture. But because it's soft and delicate, it must be handled like a premium perishable item, not a fruit we casually leave in the fridge for days on end. Before storing that bowl of pre-cut papaya, think of your aging heart, your sensitive stomach, or the little child in your family. Fruit isn't just about picking the right kind. It's about keeping it right. Warning 7. Not washing papaya skin before cutting, a small mistake that could invite dangerous bacteria inside. I've always been careful with food. I wash my veggies, I cook my meat thoroughly. But it never even crossed my mind to wash the skin of a papaya. After all, I don't eat the peel. Beverly, 67, Kansas. Ms. Beverly is a meticulous woman. Years ago, she suffered a nasty bacterial infection from underwashed greens. Since then, she's made food safety a priority, rinsing every leaf and scrubbing every apple. But papaya, that's different, she thought. No one eats the skin. So she did what most of us do. She placed the papaya on the cutting board, sliced it open, and scooped out the sweet, orange flesh inside. Just like always. 2 days later, she found herself with a fever, stomach cramps, and relentless diarrhea. Her stool test came back positive. Salmonella. The culprit. The knife had carried bacteria from the unwashed skin right into the clean fruit inside. Tropical fruits like papaya are often grown in moist soil environments, with exposure to natural fertilizers, animal waste and runoff, pesticide residues and dust. That outer skin might look clean, but it can harbor bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria. Parasite eggs rare, but not impossible. Chemical residues from sprays and preservatives. When a knife slices through unwashed skin, it drags those contaminants straight into the edible flesh. One quick cut, and bacteria are no longer just on the outside. They're now where you can't see them. Source: Cross-contamination of fresh produce through cutting implements. Journal of Food Protection, 2021. The numbers that might surprise you. CDC, 2017. Nearly 250 cases of salmonella infection in the U.S. were traced back to imported papayas, most due to not washing the skin before slicing. FDA, 2020. Among tropical fruits, papaya ranks in the top 5 for risk of bacterial contamination when the skin is left unwashed. Who's most at risk from skin-to-flesh cross-contamination? Seniors over 60, right arrow, weakened immune defenses. People with chronic illnesses, right arrow, cancer, diabetes, arthritis. Pregnant women, right arrow, risk of listeria-related miscarriage. Children under 5, right arrow, higher risk of dehydration, electrolyte loss. Anyone with bowel diseases, right arrow, colitis, IBS. Crohn's. How to safely prepare papaya and other fruits with skin. Always rinse the papaya skin under running water before slicing. Use gentle hand rubbing or a soft produce brush to remove dirt. No soap needed, clean water is enough. Dry with a clean towel before cutting to avoid water spreading bacteria along the knife. Disinfect your knife and cutting board before and after cutting. Never use the same knife for raw meat and fruit without washing it first. For extra safety, rinse the knife in hot water if used with other foods. Buying from a local market, the skin might be exposed to soil, manure, flies, rainwater, or dust. Do not cut directly without washing. The lesson from Beverly and from so many others like her. What we don't eat can still affect us deeply through the knife, the board, or a single lapse in routine. Don't let a moment of hurry steal days of health. Because after 60, every infection is harder to fight. Your immune system is no longer what it once was. But your habits, those are still yours to control. Health isn't just in the slice of papaya you enjoy. It's in how you prepare it. There are things in life that feel familiar, comforting. So familiar, in fact, that we never stop to question them. We assume they're harmless until one day something goes wrong. Papaya, sweet, soft, easy to eat, rich in vitamins. It's been a cherished fruit for generations, from Vietnam to America, from the elderly to the young. But as a physician, I've witnessed far too many hospital visits caused by what seemed like nothing. A pre-cut papaya left too long in the fridge, a knife slicing through unwashed skin, a handful of seeds taken in excess, a green papaya salad eaten during pregnancy, or a single bite of papaya that disrupted a life-saving blood thinner. What seemed like small mistakes sometimes came with big consequences, especially for those whose bodies are already fragile from age or chronic illness. Science reminds us, papaya isn't just a fruit. It contains over 150 active biological compounds, from enzymes and carotenoids to flavonoids and alkaloids. And every one of those compounds interacts with your stomach, liver, kidneys, blood, and hormones in unique ways. In other words, every bite of papaya is a mini biochemical event inside your body. Nutrients, 2023. Carica papaya is a pharmacologically active fruit and should be approached with both appreciation and awareness. But as you've seen, when eaten mindfully, moderately, and at the right time, papaya can be a gentle, natural anti-inflammatory, a mild digestive aid, a companion to heart health, a fruit that soothes the gut and helps older adults enjoy eating again. So as your doctor, I won't tell you to stop eating papaya, but I do urge you, learn about what you eat before you eat it. Listen to your body after each meal. And always remember, every food you consume is having a silent conversation with your internal organs. You absolutely have the right to enjoy papaya, as long as you understand it before taking the first spoonful. If this video has helped you, even in a small way, please tap like to help this knowledge reach others in our community. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next health lesson I'll share, with the heart of a doctor and the care of an old friend. And if you've ever had a personal experience with papaya, good or bad, tell me about it in the comments. Your story might help someone else avoid a painful mistake. In the end, a slice of papaya in the morning can be a healing gift, or it can be the final drop that tips an aging body into distress. And the difference, it lies in how much love and wisdom you bring to the way you care for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. With knowledge in your mind,